There
Okay,
it is.
okay, there we go. Okay. Is it? Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, Dr. Allen, I'm working with Mark Everett, and we're gonna discuss the existential therapy. And Mark's concern today is his work and the problem that exists there with your boss. And we were discussing the authenticity that's preventing you to be yourself too at work because your boss is not being ethical in his position, and it's created a habit. It's created a unsettling atmosphere. So just go over some of the things that are concerning you at work that it's kind of preventing you from, I guess, just taking the steps that you need to take, making good choices.
Well, I guess everybody has, I guess, a situation at one time or another where they're dealing with maybe an unfair boss. At least maybe viewed by the work group. So recently we in the basically last month, we've had one guy get fired, and then we just had a guy that worked, he's got 40 years with a company that he just retired on a whim. He just got basically called up on his days off and said he's done. He's not coming back. So it's kind of a big sting for the HR.
Oh my God,
The superintendent. Yeah, the superintendent showed up down where we work in our control room, and told us that Mark Clark just announced his retirement. And Mark Clark he's a guy I'm pretty close to. I've worked with him for a long time, and it was really odd for him just to basically just up and retire like that. So anyway, I was surprised, and I called him after work, find out what's going on.
And this just happened. Just
Yeah, this happened 2 days ago.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I called him, and I was just talking to him. Hey, Clark, what's going on? Well, he told me, he's like, well, I've been talking about retirement for a while. He's 60 years old. He was eligible at 55 to retire. But he told me, he was like, basically, it boiled down to the boss. He said, that Clyde's about my age. He's 39, and he was promoted about 4 years ago to the foreman spot. And it's been he's ex-military guy.
Mm-hmm.
Spent 8 years in the Marine Corps, and he has a very like a boss attitude. Not necessarily like the qualities that you would find or
In a good leader.
in a leader.
How do you define a good leader?
Well, I don't know. To me, a leader ought to be an individual that's that really puts his people first.
Mm-hmm.
Puts the people and the benefit of the employees or the people he's supervising like first. What's best for them. What can I do to help them make their jobs better?
To be a good servant.
Yeah, right.
But that's what makes a good leader,
right.
Is to be a good servant.
Yeah, so they're not necessarily just go around barking orders.
Mm-hmm.
And then, our group's fairly small. There's, like 12, 13 of us in the group.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's different. Like, all the
Mm-hmm.
personalities are different. And to me, you can't throw, and I'm assuming in the military, there's a big blanket thrown on all the recruits, right? You're going to be treated the same way by the same supervisors. It doesn't matter. It's 100 men in the barracks, they're all going to be treated the same way. There's not going to be anything where in the civilian or professional world, I mean, your goal is to maximize, the bottom line. Your goal is to maximize your people to get the best out of them so you can make the company more profitable, right? I mean, that's your goal. So to me, as a supervisor, like a manager, you're not necessarily there to show them how to do the jobs, but you're there to maximize that person, so they can be more beneficial to the company or to the group.
But what happened to Mr. Clark? Why did he just?
So
Okay.
yeah, so Clark, what happened is, and it really gets back to last year. There was, you know, Clark, when he sees something, you know, he's got 40 years experience now. Now the boss is about my age. He's got about 9 years. Like about 10, he's got 9. When it comes to our jobs and what we do. Well, this guy here has got a wealth. He's very smart, wealth of knowledge. He's been doing it for 40 plus years, the same job. So he's worked at like 5 or 6 different locations. So he's seen a lot of different things, right?
A huge realm
His experience, right? Well, our boss doesn't accept or doesn't take outside advice, right? So when you say, hey, look, we have a similar setup like this where I used to work, and this is what we did to help remedy the problem. Well, he kind of looks at it as like, well, I really don't need your outside help or your input. If I ask for your input, I don't win major change, right? I got this. I'll handle this. And so he didn't like a lot of outside, you know, you say, hey, look, right. Because he kind of wanted it to be his idea. You know, he wanted to come up with it, make him look like, hey, this is, you know, this is my thing. I'm running this show. And when a good idea comes up, it's going to come from me. All right? So Mark Clark really struggled with that because he just wants to help. He genuinely is just trying to make the place better, right? He was trained that, you know, you work together, you maximize production, you maximize the plant. Yeah.
Teamwork.
He said, this is what we're here for. The more money we can make the company, the more money we can make, right? So it's, you know, it's like trickle down economy, right? Make the company really profitable, company turns around, trickle some of that down back down to us. So there was an incident with, we had these heaters that we ran process through these tubes, and so it was reacting with the heat. You know, we're trying to get a certain process flow. Anyway, inside this heater there was like tubes. Well, the tubes started leaking. You can see, you know, some different type of burning going on around the burner, right? It was irregular burning. So it wasn't,
That sounds
dangerous. Uniform. Yeah. So it's all. So, you know, he brought to the kitchen, hey, look, looks like, you know, we got a tube leak inside, you know, we need to think about how the way these burners are reconfigured. Anyway, so he's bringing up some pretty ideas that he did up there. Well, they completely ignored it. Matter of fact, they shut him down. He wrote a work request, submitted into like the maintenance, into the higher ups. Well, anyway, it was like he jumped him, right? Like he went around it. And he didn't like that. Really got on to him. So no, he went up. Matter of fact, he made a personal trip out there. He talked to him, say, hey, look, this is the way we're going to do it. You're going to run everything through me before you just go sending out a copy of people on emails, right? Well, Clark didn't mean no harm by it. He was just like, he knew the people that needed to know what was going on. So he just
worked there for 40 years.
He just channeled it, shot it up there, copied the boss in it. But since it didn't come through Clyde, now this is just mine, like it didn't come through him, that I could send it out to those people. And then, you know, they could look at it and go, oh man, this guy's sharp.
But didn't you not have the same incident with Clyde about a year ago at a team meeting with the big bosses from that one?
Yeah, I've had my deals. I mean, I understand him, how he operates, and kind of where he wants to, you know, he wants to get on it, you know, the corporate ladder and work his way up. You know, and that's fine.
Self-promotion.
But my deal is that, you know, that Clark guy he was like the glue that held everything together. He was the go-to guy, right?
What happened?
Well, he went up there, he chastised him, got on to him, you know, and that was the first incident. And Clark was like, man, you know, he had him outside for like 2 hours. Like, tell him, hey, look.
But Mark Clark,
Mhm.
he did it all by,
Well,
procedures.
he
Right.
recognized, well, he recognized the problem.
Problem, and it's dangerous.
He found a solution that worked in the past, and he shot it out to 3 or 4 different people. Well, he didn't like that because it looked like he went around, right?
Mhm.
So anyway, so that was one. It's kind of started there. Well, uh, what really did it over was last week. So we have these these work modules, these procedural modules that you know ever so often it comes up that we have to be like basically recertified. Like 25, 30 different procedures. You got to go through it. Basically, it says, hey, you understand the different elements of your job.
Mhm.
It's like an annual thing. Some of them are like 3 years. It's typical, right? Most places, they just want to let you know that you understand, you sign off, that you know this stuff. So anyway, takes a little work, takes a little time.
Mhm.
Well, Clark, he's busy all the time. Well, he really kind of dropped the ball and just didn't get that stuff submitted in time, right? A little late. Well, Clyde gets on there, sends an email, and basically, now this is right after Clyde just fired somebody like 2 weeks ago, right? And I know you're like, well, firing, that's kind of doing the job. It is, but it's not at where I work. So the last time I saw somebody get fired at my job was, let's see, about 10 years ago, right? So,
But if you had an explosion or something or fire last year, and no one got fired over
that
that?
wasn't here. No one got fired.
Oh, what was was it or something? I thought there was.
Yeah, well, after the investigation, it was like a process design flaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
really
it wasn't man-made
No.
problem.
But like I said, like the only time really they hire folks is when somebody retires. This is the type of job where you get on, most folks stay their entire career, 30 or 40 years, not really. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, hey, you work for ExxonMobil, they're going to take care of you and your family, the rest of your career. I mean, you're good, right? So, so he guy got fired, and now Clark up and retired 2 days ago. So, it was what had happened was like he sent an email out. Was like, hey, look, basically Clark told me like the email, the tone of it was like he was like berating really bad, like very dogmatic, talking very. Clark said in a very threatening way, and he copied the superintendents on it. Right? So Clark felt, he felt really embarrassed about it. Also, he felt really threatened, and he felt really upset. He was mad, right? And he called me and he told me, he didn't just go on the email, but he said, this was bad. Um,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. So anyway, so this was bad.
So he said, hey, look, this really upset me. I'm bothered. I'm basically tired of Clyde. Feels like he's coming after me. Like he's really trying to push me out the door. He said, you know what? Before he pushes me out the door, I'm going to retire. Yeah. And so, I know we talked about it, but he never told me, hey, Mark, look, I'm going to retire within the next day or two. I was thinking in a year or something. Yeah.
What's the mood of the
Yeah, so the whole group's shocked. Everybody's like, God, that's like, Muhammad Ali just left, your best boxer, you're like, what do we got now?
But, this is going to be good for Clyde. How's he going to run the place?
Yeah.
And
it's funny. Clyde called me like the next day. Well, he called me the day he found out he retired. I was just what? And he knows me and Clark pretty close. So he calls, saying, what's up, man? Something happened in his life? And I told him, I said, no, Clyde, not really. I said, it was that last email. He said, what? You're kidding me. It's like, no, man. It's like, y'all's relationship, in the last couple of months, it got really bad. It started about a year ago. So I said, that last email pretty much done him over. Now, I told him, I said, look, I know Clark's been talking about retirement, his wife's been ready for a year. I said, no, he's got something going on with his younger son. I said, so, I'm sure it's not all you, but I said, it's probably a big part of you. Well, he
Got defensive?
immediately got defensive and brought it back upon himself, like how it's going to affect him. He's like, well, I can't, he thinks he can try to do this to me or something, it's not really
And like I'm
arrogant.
3 years old.
Yeah. And,
But I mean, I hold that thought, but do you find that your inner circle, the guys tend to come to you?
well, I mean,
Because you
I
are
like-
very authentic in the way
well,
you live your life.
it's like when I was talking on the phone, and I told Clark, I thought, look, I'm just trying to be as transparent, all the guys around, maybe a lot of guys, they wouldn't say those things, or bring that up, because they're afraid of whatever, but look, I try to, if it's on my, if it's on, I try to be careful when it's on my mind, what you say,
That's how you say it.
but, when it comes to an issue or a problem, I like to just get it out there. We can talk about it afterwards, try to work it out, but at least get it out there. And Clark, real emotional guy. Like I said, it really bothered him. And I knew that's what it was, and I just told Clyde, I was like, man, this is it. This is a big reason why he left, And Clyde turns around and makes it all about himself again. Like, how's it going to affect him? Why he's just trying to do this to me? He's trying to do this. But no, Clyde, Clark can retire whenever he wants to.
Yeah, see, and that's just it. Clyde doesn't take any responsibility for his decision, and he self-blames everybody.
Right. Well, instead of saying, "Well, hey, maybe I should have handled that situation a little differently,"
But he'd have to be a different person.
Well, he looks at it like, "Well, they're the problem, not me. They have to deal with that, not me, right?"
Exactly.
So that's a problem. That's
Right.
That's one of our biggest, I guess, currently right now.
Yeah, but at work though, you seem to be the one that everybody knows that you're going to do your job and you're going to be true to yourself and you're going to do the right thing, and everybody knows
Yeah.
that.
Well, he's done a little bit to me. Like, well, look, if I see a problem, I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna send an email. I'm gonna, and I really don't care about what it, like. It's like I told him one time. I was like, well, I don't care if it's stuff on people's toes or not. I mean, he told me one time, he's like, Mark, you gotta watch how you say things because people got hurt, their feelings got hurt. People are offended. I was like, well, I just say it how it is. I mean, I can't help it if you get your feelings hurt or you're offended, right?
We work in a dangerous place.
I mean, I don't understand why, people get mad or upset. You know what? Let the guy speak if that's what's on his mind. That's it. Yeah, I mean, then you could evaluate what he says, or look at the content of which he was talking about.
Well, is there an aspect of your life or your personality that you're unafraid because you're thinking, well, if it's meant for me to be fired, God will place me in a position where I'll go.
Yeah,
versus like some of the guys there at work, like Clyde. I'm not trying to judge him, but on a spiritual level, he I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But sometimes people they're not scared, like, to lean on the Lord, like, okay, I better do this, I better say this, because if I don't, I might lose my job. But if it's the right thing, then you're not hesitant about saying the right thing.
Well, I mean, that's a problem everybody faces in a situation, or maybe you did something you shouldn't have done, or you try to cover yourself up. All I know is that I never really felt threatened on my job. I try to think before I really do say stuff, but at the same time, if it's wrong, it's wrong, right? And if there's a certain way we do things, or we're supposed to do things, then that's the way we need to do it. Now, I can't get in trouble because I'm doing what it says, the procedure, whatever it says to do, right? So I make sure that before I open my mouth, sometimes, I could be wrong, but, I'm like, look, before I say something, before we go too far, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this what this says? In our procedure, doesn't it say that we're supposed to abide by this?
Right.
Doesn't it say in our company safety handbook we're supposed to abide by this? You know, I mean, I think, you know, I don't know, a lot of jobs that people much rather do things the easy way
Mm-hmm.
and get it done than do things the right way and it takes a little longer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you like in Clyde, he's kind of the guy that likes things to happen, likes to get things done, likes to show that hey, you know what, I can do it quickly, I can do this, I can do that, you know, and he tries to really try to like shine. Like for example, there was so in our nitrogen reinjection. So I work in a gas plant, so we've got a lot of processing stuff going on, right? We work at very like sub-cryogenic temperatures, very cold, minus 260 F, down to 300, minus 300 degrees, right? So we had some moisture get into the front end of our plant. So you get into the front of the plant, so we do, we take gas that's sweet and dry, you know, there's no moisture in it.
Mm-hmm.
We send it through a plant that gets processed. So we capture the recoverable goodies, right?
That sounds so complicated.
Well, so what happens is that one of our dehydration systems, what they call, we rode through one of the vents. That means that we went too long and we sent moisture. And we have these moisture analyzers that pick up dew points, right? The dew points got into a range, say, 2 or 3 parts per million. Well, 2 or 3 parts per million, if it goes too long, it'll start to develop crystallizations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Inside screens or strainers. And so basically you start plugging. And when you start plugging, that means on one side of your expander, you'll see a pressure differential. So pressure will drop here, and pressure will drop,
Oh
say,
my
on the
gosh,
outside of the
that
rock.
sounds so complicated.
Well,
That's scary.
as you have this differential pressure drop,
Right.
that means as it's building, that means you're developing a restriction in the flow.
And that
You
can
can't
cause
see it. Yeah, well, it even cause damage to the equipment, right? Because it's saying, hey, look, I'm trying to bring this in,
And it's
can't.
crystallizing.
and I'm losing pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about like, you know, you got pressure here, and then as this blockage formed, you can't draw that gas.
Mm-hmm.
So pressure starts to drop. It's basically like, you know,
So
you're
this
shut
is
here.
the gas.
Right, so
Yeah.
like you're shut here, and you're shut here, and everything in here, as you draw this, right, because the machine's drawing it, if you're not getting any more gas, this pressure drops. And it gets to nothing, and then the machine acts, right?
Oh my God.
Anyway, so this is what was happening. Well, they identified the problem as, all right, we're going to shut down. We're going to send more nitrogen through there to thaw out this
The
particular
crystallized.
thaw it out
Mhm.
so we can begin.
Mhm.
Anyway, so they were looking at what they call TI, its temperature on this overhead, this expander suction separator. All right, so we're watching this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, well, I know that for us to unthaw this, we've got to get to a positive 32F, right? Well, they ran this defrost, and they're checking dew points, right? So there's spots online, they hook up and analyze, and they check dew points. So the dew points are reading like, you know, 0 or
Right.
0.012 or very low parts per minute. They're saying, all right, so the restrictions unthawed because you can't really see it, right? We can resume, you know, flow again. Well, the problem is that on this expander suction separator, it got only down to a -10. Well, only warm to a -10, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, he was like, because it was taking so long, and he's never worked on that side of what we do,
Or
right?
did Mark Clark work on this side?
No, we were off. Well, so
Oh.
Clyde says, well, hey, we've been down way too long. Go get me some dew points. The guys run down there and say, hey, dew points are like 0.012. That's perfect. Button everything up. Let's start it. Right? So and one of the guys on the inside, what we call our console operators, they pretty much run the plant. He saw it, but he was like, you know what? Because he was pushing it. He was like over his shoulder driving this thing because he was like, all right, we gotta get it back. We gotta get it back. So they go to restart. Well, they restart, and within 5 or 10 minutes, they notice this huge pressure drop again.
Oh my God.
Well, the problem was, if you never got warmer than -10, then you never thawed the restriction. So when you took your dew point, of course it was going to read 0 because nothing's thawed.
How did he? I'm always confused. I'm confused. How did Clyde get this position if he doesn't know every step of
Well,
the
it's
plan?
like anything, right? I'm not saying, look, Clyde's a smart guy, but Clyde's also a politician.
Yeah.
And like anything in a big corporation, you find out what guy you need to go to help you with your track, right? You get buddy, but I'm not, it just happens. I mean, it's like that. It's self-promoting, right?
It is.
It's the nature of the corporate world.
Right.
So anyway, he made the right connections, got the right friends, and anyway, so he got the job. And
what happened? What happened with?
Anyway, this ran for a few minutes. Next thing you know, they gotta shut it back down and start this whole process over. So instead of them coming out up, say, for a couple hours, well, it wasn't until the following day then. So now he's down 2 days, off 2 days.
Oh my gosh, and that's money.
Yeah, so our plant, we do about $150,000 a day of revenue. So he lost $300,000, and he could have probably lost a half a day, 14 hours.
I wouldn't think the corporate office would like this.
Well,
Who did he like? Did he blame it on anybody?
No, I haven't had a chance to talk to him. I still the guys are like, yeah, you gotta keep pushing it. Hey, we need this. Hey, it's good to go. Let's button up, start it back up. And the thing is, if he'd have sat there or done it before, he probably would have recognized it. And that's another problem. Like he thinks he knows it, but he's never done it. But he likes to tell you how to do it, right? And I don't mind people telling me how to do it. Just make sure you know how to do it.
Instead of like, if someone says, "Well, I read it in a book, so this is how it goes."
Yeah.
Kind of like, functioning skills is different from formal skills, because you can read something all day long and say, "Well, the book said it. This is how it goes."
And here's the deal. He's civil boss, right? So I respect his position. I respect his authority. And I'm gonna do my job. I mean, that's just all it is to it. So, I mean, that's just, but then like Clark, he was said, you know what, I don't have to do this. I'm going to retire, and I'm just gonna go. So anyways, that's what happened. So we lost by far our best
Your best man,
group.
best employee.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Everett, we'll take up next week, and let's see how we're doing. We'll continue